Well, since then, of course, you've switched now to being a coach, especially for nervous system breath work. Um, I'm curious to hear, like, what were some of the key steps in the transition, and maybe what surprised you the most along that journey?
Definitely. So as I said before, I found breathing as a tool when I was a young athlete, and I actually found breathing originally through practicing yoga daily. So I
Yeah.
used yoga as a tool to recover my mind and body. And through that journey, I realized, and a huge part of yoga, as you probably are aware, is pranayama, the traditional methods of breathing.
Hmm.
And that was what opened my eyes to, okay, breathing is a really powerful tool. But when I went on the journey after my career of understanding breathing more, when I did my yoga teacher training, for example, the science was lacking. There was always this sort of like philosophical, spiritual element to breathing, which is great, and I love that side as well. But I realized if I wanted to deliver this to my audience, and my mission was to help support high performers and elite athletes, I needed to back this properly by science. So I think the biggest transition for me was going on that journey of linking two worlds that traditionally are completely the opposite ends of the world. From my knowledge, I'm the only ex-professional footballer in the UK that is now a yoga teacher, which just blows my mind because I thought there'd be a lot more.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I believe in it so much, and it's the same with breathing as well. So I think the biggest thing I learned was, how could I translate this into high performance, speak the language of my audience in the right way, and make them realize that this is a tool that can change your life if you harness it in the right way. And that journey is took not a long time, but it's took, a couple of years now within the business that I've built. But before that, my education and, just going back to university after playing sport, understanding, learning, doing it again, failing, learning, all of the in-betweens, which I'm sure you're obviously aware of. So, yeah, I would say that's been the biggest lesson for me. And also, like, the lack of education out there was a real surprise for me when I first
Hmm.
started within the elite sporting world, because sports science is huge from a physical perspective, strength and
Yeah.
conditioning, physiotherapy, etc. And it's all obviously about the main muscle groups, let's say, that it takes to run hard and sprint faster and be strong. But one of the biggest muscle groups, which is obviously, your respiratory muscles and your diaphragm, etc., underlooked and neglected when it comes to education, application of that. So that was also like a big surprise. Very surprising, actually, that there was such a lack of information out there. And I think that's the gap that we're trying to bridge now at Optima.